that the movie only made $70 cajillion. What a failure. That's like, well, if that's failure money, can I have some of that failure money? Because I can do a lot with $70 cajillion. Hey geeks, welcome to my channel. I'm Trey Guillotine, and today I'm talking about the bidding war that is going on between Disney and Comcast over some of the rights from Fox. Remember, if you like this video, to give it a thumbs up and share it around so others can join in the conversation. Let's geek out. The Disney-Fox deal has been going on, it seems like forever, but it's been going on for only about a year. Maybe it's just felt like forever because we've been wanting, as fans, the rights for superheroes within the Marvel Universe who are owned by other studios like Fox, like Universal, like Sony. It's been forever that we've wanted Marvel Studios to get those rights back so they can make proper movies of other heroes like X-Men, Fantastic Four, which are the ones that are owned by Fox. But this deal has only been going on, to our public knowledge, for about a year, but it seems like it's been going on forever because it's been a bidding war between Disney and Comcast over who's going to ultimately own the rights to a number of Fox's properties. Now, these properties aren't just the Marvel superheroes like X-Men, Deadpool, and Fantastic Four. It's a number of other rights, which actually, as far as I understand, includes Firefly. So maybe if Disney has kind of been in the game of revitalizing older series. So maybe if Disney gets them, they'll throw money at it and make a new Firefly. We can cross our fingers about it. It's probably not going to happen, but we can dream. But it's been a bidding war between Disney and Comcast over these rights, and the most recent news from it is that Disney was set to buy, and then Comcast bid $65 billion, which in response to that bid, Disney bid $75 billion. And as of right now, it looks like Disney is going to be the one to ultimately purchase these rights from Fox. It hasn't been set in stone yet. I believe that Fox's shareholders, or the Fox bigwigs, are going to sit down and make this ultimate decision sometime in the month of July. But right now it does look like Disney is going to be acquiring those rights from Fox. And it's not that Disney is buying Fox like they did Marvel Studios. Disney is simply just purchasing a number of entertainment rights from Fox. So they're not buying Fox Sports, they're not buying Fox News, thank God. They are just buying some of the property rights like X-Men, and like Fantastic Four. And while there are a number of other properties in this buy, I really feel that the Marvel superheroes are kind of one of the big reasons Disney, and especially Comcast, want to buy these properties, that Disney want to bring those superheroes home back to Marvel Studios. What this would mean for the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that if Marvel Studios, once again, has the rights to characters from X-Men and from Fantastic Four, that can mean a lot of big changes for the MCU. Now, as far as Fantastic Four goes, that probably won't be as big of a deal as X-Men would be. Bringing in the Fantastic Four would be a fairly simple move to make. It's 4 scientists or scientist-adjacent characters who are involved in some kind of scientific accident. Whatever the specifics are of how they get their powers has kind of been different from at least movie to movie. It's been different. But bringing them in would be a simple thing. They've actually already mentioned some elements of Fantastic Four, like in Luke Cage when they mentioned the home country of Dr. Victor Von Doom, just like Luke Cage also mentioned the idea that Johnny Blades was already a character within the MCU, and then we actually kind of saw who we strongly assume is Johnny Blaze as the Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So bringing in Fantastic Four, not as big of an idea, but it's something that I would be excited to see because it would be bringing in a number of new scientific characters and elements into the MCU. We've already seen multiple dimensions between Doctor Strange and a very small part of the quantum realm from the Ant-Man movie. But bringing in characters like Dr. Reed Richards and Dr. Sue Storm would definitely open up the possibility of reaching out to other dimensions and opening new portals non-magically, but through science. This would also bring characters like Tony Stark or Doctor Strange into the same intellectual world that they could be with members of the Fantastic Four, and I think that would be something really cool to do. Bringing in the X-Men, however, is a much bigger deal because they're not just bringing in a small number of heroes who get their powers from a scientific incident. These are characters who there's many. It seems like an endless number of different mutants within the X-Men, and then bringing them in would have to somehow establish that mutants aren't a new thing. Mutants are something that has been around for a long time, for at least the past few generations of people, that mutants are finally coming into the light in the thing. And honestly, as big of a deal as that would be, I don't think it's a difficult thing to kind of retcon and reintroduce mutants as part of the MCU's history. It's very possible that mutants have been around, we just haven't seen them yet because none of them have been involved in the type of stories that we've seen in the MCU. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did a very similar thing when they introduced Inhumans into the MCU. And even the unfortunate television series Inhumans, it establishes that Inhumans have been around for a long time. We just haven't seen many stories of them, or if we have, we didn't yet know the details of what it meant for them to be Inhuman. There's even an episode in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the season where they start to introduce more Inhumans into the show, where they discuss the idea of people in the world who are already enhanced through scientific experiments or accidents, and the others, the Inhumans, who all have the same kind of genetic trait of their ancestry being Inhumans made by the Kree. So it's very possible that a lot of these already enhanced individuals that they may talk about or they have encountered could kind of go back and say, yeah, they were mutants. They were already mutants, and mutants are a thing. Also, bringing in the X-Men would bring in Charles Xavier, and with bringing in the Fantastic Four with Dr. Reed Richards, and then you have Iron Man, you have, I believe Bruce Banner is one of them, and then Doctor Strange. That would actually bring in the kind of Illuminati group that is something within the Marvel Cinematic Universe of just the smartest and most intellectually gifted people on Earth, or in the dimension, in the Earth 616 dimension of the Marvel Comics, come together and they kind of make a lot of decisions that are really impacting the world. So that would be an interesting thing to see in some kind of crossover between all of those different scientific intellectual characters. The problem I have with it is, even though this has only been going on even though this deal has only been publicly in the public eye for less than a year, it seems like it's been going on forever because there's been such a back and forth between, is Disney going to buy them? Is Marvel going to buy them? Are they not going to buy them? Is this going to be something that they can do? Is something going to block them? Is Comcast now bidding? Is Comcast going to get them? Or is Marvel going to get them? It's been back and forth so many times that at this point, I don't really care. If Comcast gets them, and I can almost promise you that the reason Comcast wants to buy these rights from Fox is because of the big titles like X-Men, like Deadpool, like Fantastic Four, because Comcast wants to get into the superhero game that, regardless of how you feel about superhero fatigue or whether you like superhero movies or don't, the fact of the matter is superhero movies make money. They make a lot of money. Even the ones that are considered flops, which I always find it really funny whenever I hear that the movie only made $70 kajillion. What a failure. That's like, well, that's failure money. Can I have some of that failure money? Because I can do a lot with $70 kajillion. But in the grand scheme of things, if the movie doesn't at least break even on what they spent to make it, then it would be considered a flop. But even those flops, they do make money. They make studios a large amount of money. And I can promise you that Comcast, whether they would make good X-Men movies or not, want in on that superhero gravy train. But even if Comcast does buy the rights from Fox, if they come in at the last minute and scoop up the rights from Disney, and Disney and Marvel Studios don't get the rights to these other heroes, I would be fine with it, because the Marvel Studios and their Marvel Cinematic Universe was a phenomenal success almost from the beginning, and for 10 years, they've been that continued success. So if they don't get the rights to X-Men or Fantastic Four or even Deadpool, I'm confident that Marvel Studios is going to continue on the successful path and making good movies like they already have been. That whether they get these rights or not, it's not going to change the quality or the plan for Marvel Studios, because Kevin Feige has already said that even if they get the rights, there are no rooms for plans for X-Men or Fantastic Four or any of those new heroes that they would be buying the rights for any place in the MCU until at the very least 2020 or 2021 is when they could start making those plans. But on the same side, they moved pretty quickly whenever they bought or whenever they made their deal to co-own Spider-Man from Sony. They moved really quickly to change their schedule and add Spider-Man into the MCU. So it's very possible that while right now when the deal hasn't been completed yet, that they're saying that we don't have plans for them, it's very possible that if they do get the plans for them, they might speed things up and put in things like X-Men and Fantastic Four in an earlier lineup. But even if Comcast buys them, I'm confident that Marvel is going to continue making quality movies, even if they don't have the likes of Wolverine or Deadpool or Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman and Doctor Doom. So as someone who's kind of saturated my life and building a career around news of Marvel Studios and a lot of the big pop culture things, as much as I don't care about it at this point because I've heard it, because I've been hearing it over and over so many times, it's still something important that I feel like I have to comment on, and I've talked about it in the past. Like many of the things I'm saying in this video, I know I've at least mentioned before in past videos. So saying these things right now, we've talked about it so many times, it's been an issue so many times at this point that I've gotten to the point that I just don't care what happens with those rights anymore. That if Marvel gets them, great. If Marvel doesn't get them, also great. Comcast will make some movies and they'll probably suck, because it really feels like the only studios, at least in the last 10 years, the only studios that are capable of making good superhero movies are Marvel Studios. Like DC has had, in my opinion, one success. Sony, the first two Spider-Man movies, like I said, within the past 10 years, the first two Spider-Man movies are great. DC with Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy was amazing. But within the past 10 years, since the introduction of Iron Man, Marvel Studios has been the only one who can competently and continuously make good superhero movies. So if Comcast doesn't, I have a feeling that even if they're going to try and make money from it, they're not going to do a good job of those movies. But hey, maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe Comcast will buy these rights out from under Disney and Marvel, and they'll make phenomenal movies, and they'll be the new superhero leading thing. But at this point, it's too early to tell. There's still, I believe the Fox bigwig meeting is like July 24th or somewhere around that timeline, where they make the final decision of what they're going to do with those rights. And honestly, I would not be surprised if they made all of what I'm saying moot and just keep the rights for themselves and keep making mediocre, sometimes amazing X-Men and Deadpool movies. What do you think of this bidding war between Disney and Comcast over some of the rights from Fox? Let me know in the comments and follow me on all the internets. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it around so others can join the conversation. If you want to be featured in an upcoming What You Gaming On video, make sure to tell me what game you're playing, what you like about it, what you don't like about it in the comments on any of my social media, or email me your answer, and your answer will be featured in an upcoming episode of What You Gaming On. And subscribe to my channel to geek out some more. Thanks for watching and have fun.